Hello everyone out there, my name is Rob McCallum. I am the writer-director of Box Art, a gaming documentary, and I thought I would take a few moments just to give you a little bit of a midweek update since I've been noticing a lot of chatter about our project online, which is always a good thing. So let's jump right into some Q&A to see if we can answer some of the most commonly asked questions and topics that are out there. First question is, can you explain a little bit more about the 90 minutes version versus the material and the stretch goals and how all that works? To clarify, we are essentially making two versions of the film. There is going to be the 90-minute version, which is essentially for what distributors want to be able to put it around the world. We learned that lesson pretty quickly with Nintendo Quest, and we've had some success with that smaller, shorter format in order to get different markets. But in my other project, Power of Grayskull, we also know how important it is to give the fans something that's a little bit more in depth. So that's why we want to do something that could be potentially series long if we hit all our stretch goals. Now our base goal is 30,000. That'll get the 90-minute version and the 90-minute version only. The first stretch goal lets us create some mini featurettes, which is kind of like mini documentaries or segments that are onto themselves, which may or may not be featured in the film in a shorter version, but they allow us to expand different topics. So, for example, we could do a mini featurette on the art of Mega Man, where we might not be able to take that kind of time to do it in the film. The second stretch goal is extended interviews. So this is a chance for you to get to see maybe some artists or artists in a specific era or genre talk about what they do, like uncut. It's pretty cool to have uncut interviews in general, but to see people talk about their process and maybe even show their process from a blank page to something that's, even if it's rough, how they got there in a way that, again, a finished edited product can't show you. So again, really kind of underrated but maximum kind of impact thing for extended interviews. And of course, as I already mentioned, the last stretch goal, the $50,000 one, allows us to essentially reorganize the content that we do capture into possibly a series-like format. Now, I don't know if that means there's going to be 4, 5, 6 episodes, 8 episodes. I just don't know. It really depends on how much content we have. More than anything, hitting the $50,000 mark allows us to travel more because, as you guys probably know, travel is really expensive. And when you have an entire film crew that you've got to pay for to get from A to B to C to D, it adds up quickly. And we want to include as many artists as possible. And the more we include, the more that we can showcase. You guys probably really understand it. The next question is, what kind of content and what can we expect to see? For me, it's about who these people are, what their process is, and how these notable works that we know have evolved from idea to rough sketch to finished product, who was involved in that transition. But really keeping a focus on who these people are, that human element. Who are the people? What is their background? How did they get into art? And why did they choose to do art for video games? Why was that suddenly an option for an artist to consider? And how long did they stick in the industry? Are they still in the industry? When did they come in? What are the conditions for them to come in? What was going on in their life at the time that they were able to enter the industry? And what kind of stories do they have to tell? There's, even just being on the phone with these artists already, it's pretty, I don't want to say crazy, but it's really inspiring to hear them tell their story of where they came from, what they've had to endure, and to have essentially the cover art that we all know and love be the kind of result of that without the other component, the human element. So I'm really looking forward to showing these people and their story to you guys, as well as their artistic process, where they get their ideas from. Did they have input from other versions of the artwork that were out there, from Japanese sources or from the European art that was existing compared to North American ones, for example? It's going to be an interesting journey. Next question is, will you guys talk about the Mega Man 1 cover, the Phalanx cover for SNES, and other infamously bad covers or terrible cover work? For me, I don't think any of the artwork is bad. I think it's just interesting, the results and the choices that we get. Mega Man 1 is the one cover that comes up over and over again. I don't know if we'll be able to get a sit-down interview with the artist. I don't know if we'll be able to get a sit-down interview with someone from Capcom, but we do have people that have information on that cover. We do have people that have illustrated other stuff in the Mega Man series, and of course we have a lot of gaming historians and fans and people that can comment on it. So is it something that we'll address? More than likely, and let us know if there's other artwork you want us to look into. Again, Kickstarter, the cool thing about that is you get to help us be part of the process in making the film. So it's complete transparency. Just talk to us about what other artwork you'd like to see, and we will try to make it a talking point when we interview some of these people that are on our list. Next question is about variations like Dragon Warrior versus Dragon Quest, or again, Rockman versus Mega Man. Will we talk about the differences in region releases and how the art changed? Absolutely. Again, for me, it's the interesting stuff that is worth talking about. Why is there a difference? Again, it's not bad versus good. Why is there a difference? What factors and elements went into those variations, and who can shed some light on that? And we have some people on board on our list that specialize in Americanizing various characters and artwork. So we have people that can speak directly to that. So the answer is yes, we will talk about variations. Now the next question is a little bit more outside the content of the film. How are you going to distribute the digital version? We'll probably use a site like Vimeo or VHX, and we want to make all the downloads DRM free, which means you're not going to be region coded or have any trouble, playing it anywhere, and it's not going to necessarily be tethered to your computer. So we just want to make it easy for everybody. The discs are also region free, so if you're an international backer and you're on the fence about supporting this North American project, know that the discs are region free. I will say in the past that we've had issues with our discs on Xbox One players, and that's because for whatever reason Microsoft doesn't support the codecs that are generally created and authored by independent filmmakers such as myself. Every other player, it should work no problem. PlayStation 3, 4, Samsung, LG, you name it, we've tried it. The Xbox One is the one that is consistently apparently having problems. So I do kind of throw that out there as a caution, and all that information is in our FAQ on our Kickstarter page. Next question is, what about a box art book? Is there one in the works? Is there anything that you guys could do to throw that in for another stretch goal? It seems that you guys are going to be talking to a lot of people, and it would be great to have a resource such as a book. Short answer is yeah, we'd love to do a book. In fact, one of our producers who's on board, Dan, has been working on a book for 8 years, and when we announced that we were going to do this documentary, that's how we started talking. So I'm really excited for Dan to get his book out there, and when we finish the film, we'll probably use a service called BackerKit, which allows you to let us know if your shipping address has changed, as well as add any kind of add-ons that have since come to fruition since the film is completed. Dan's book might be a great way to add it on as you check out for X number of dollars or whatever, however that works. But yeah, it's something we've definitely considered, and we know the value of being able to look at that art in a physical form, like on a coffee table, especially if it's something that you might be able to follow along while watching the film. The last note that I have here is about when's the best time to back, and this is kind of silly for me to say, but back now. Don't wait. If you can, the money doesn't come out of your account until the end of the campaign if we're successful. It's really important that we show a constant state of progression, that we don't look like we're stalling out, that it looks like we're healthy. And if we cross that goal earlier, then it looks like we're going to be delivering more in terms of stretch goals and what we can promise people. So if you're thinking about supporting this project, even if it's just $1 or for the digital version of the film, really help us out and get on board now so we can show people how close we are to the goal, and if we cross the goal, how close we are to hitting those stretch goals. And for the most part, a lot of the stretch goals really benefit a good chunk of our backers. Most of our backers have selected either the 39 or higher tier. It's an overwhelming percentage because they want all that extra content. And when it comes to bang for buck, if we hit those stretch goals, it's going to be, you're going to get your money's worth. Anybody that backed Nintendo Quest knows that they got a 3-disc set with the feature plus about 4 hours of extra content, and that's exactly the same kind of formula we want to deliver with this. So the last thing I just want to say is thank you so much. We're already over $17,000 here, but the part that I like about that is the 200 plus backers that have jumped on board to say, yeah, this is worth kind of supporting and making. It's only been about a week and a half since we launched, and to have $17,000 and 200 people, like 20 people a day, that's pretty great, and it means a lot to the entire team. We've been working to get to this point for 6 months, and we're doing a lot of work behind the scenes every day to spread the word about this project. So thank you all so much. If you can't afford to support us, don't worry about it, but sharing the links and telling people, even just if you're in line talking, waiting for something to happen at a movie theater, let someone know about this video game box art documentary, because there's never been a documentary on box art. And I think that's kind of a shame, especially with the list of people that are excited to share their story. So thanks so much, guys, and game on.